Welcome to Team Tuesdays with the Computational Media Laboratory. I'm your host, River Terrell. I use she, they pronouns, and I'm the supervisor of the community engagement team. Today, I'll be doing a Q&A with one of our lab members, Akaash Kolluri, one of our research assistants, and the creator of Pox Verify. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so my name's Akaash. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm currently a senior at Clements High School in Sugar Land, Texas. I've been working at the Computational Media Lab for around a year now, mostly doing the more computational side of things since I have a pretty good background in computer science.
That's awesome. So how did you come to work for the CML?
Yeah, so my older brother used to work at CML. He published a couple of papers, and from hearing him talk about his work, I always thought it was really cool and had like a lot of real world impacts. Like around a year ago, Dr. Murthy actually asked Nikhil if he had any friends who were undergraduates in computer science, and he referred me. I was able to start working on a NIH project about YouTube e-cigarette and vaping content. And then around January this year, I started working on the Good Systems projects.
Can you tell me a little bit more about the projects that you've worked on in the CML, or maybe some of your favorites?
Yeah, the bulk of my time at CML, I've spent it on two projects. So first was a project analyzing racism on Parler. I looked at the large scale trends of the diffusion of racism in hopes to find results that could guide social media platforms and how to best address racism and more broadly hate speech on their platforms. Second, and more recently, I created a tool called Pox Verify, which is a Google Chrome extension to help users combat monkeypox misinformation. So essentially the way it works is that any user can download the Chrome extension, and it uses a machine learning model in order to rate the claims of monkeypox related articles as either likely accurate or likely fake news. And users can also leave their own reviews of whether or not they think the news is fake or accurate. And they can see what other members of the community have voted on the news. And it's meant to provide multiple methods in order to verify and help users verify whether or not news is true or false.
What is your favorite thing about working at the CML?
Obviously, I think the research is super meaningful, but really what makes it for me is just being able to work with the other people. CML being an interdisciplinary lab has a great diversity in research backgrounds, and I think that creates an amazing environment. We can truly create groundbreaking discoveries. So you have people who have strong backgrounds in computer science, strong backgrounds in math, strong backgrounds in psychology, strong backgrounds in sociology. And I think this is great because research really works best when you have diverse collaborative perspectives, because each person then has something unique to offer to the lab. And I think it's really helped me find how I can best contribute to the lab because it's given me a chance to provide my unique skills. And I think everyone can do that. I think it just creates a great environment to really do meaningful research.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I love working here, and it always makes me happy in these interviews when everyone talks about how it's just the community and the people. It's really cool. So a little bit back to the research. Why is researching dis and misinformation important to you?
I think what really makes it most important is how present and persuasive it is on social media platforms, yet how unnoticeable and undetectable it is. Most people would probably be aware that misinformation and disinformation are huge problems since it's talked about quite often online, but it really is hard to detect when it's actually affecting you. But there's also these very subtle forms that just bend the truth slightly. We just are very unable to identify it, since if we see something partially true, we sort of turn off whether or not we're trying to detect whether or not it's false. And then that's when it begins affecting us. And I think it's vital for us to do research to understand how it's happening, why it's happening, because that'll guide best ways to address it.
Where do you see yourself in the next few years?
I think the thing that I'm most interested in doing right now is expansion of the framework that I developed with Pox Verify. And I think it would be really useful if it was scaled to all types of misinformation, since I think it's very doable, but it would also be very helpful. And a sort of more large scale project, actually creating a social media platform using a framework like Mastodon with the co-verify or Pox Verify style of verification in mind. So essentially it's integrated within the platform is information detection models and also the ability for users to rate claims whether or not they think they're true or false. It's something more big picture that I'm looking into. I'm obviously a senior, so I'm in the process of applying to a bunch of different schools, but I definitely plan to continue the research I do in college, hopefully continue with CML working on a lot of these projects, since I found them very meaningful and become very engaged with them, that I do want to continue them.
Thank you so much for talking with me today. I really appreciate your time. To everyone who tuned in to watch, please like and subscribe and stay tuned for more content from the CML's community engagement team. Again, this was Akaash Kolluri discussing his work in the CML. I'm River Terrell. Thanks for watching.